Week 119, going to go over my plan for the week. So, as I mentioned last week, I'm returning to structured training starting this week. So, that's exciting. Going to be doing a specific build block for the British Cycling National Individual Pursuit Championships, which is on the 19th of February. In preparation for that, it's going to be spending lots of time on the track. Need to set a 4:35 or better individual pursuit, which I'm hopefully going to be doing before Derby Track League at the start of the year. Need to set that time before the 18th of January, I think. Doing a build block to hopefully be in my best shape possible for that event. So yeah, really excited to start cracking on with that. Still need to be very sensible with it, not go from 0 to 100, you know. I haven't been doing much training for the past few weeks, so now that I'm reintroducing this intensity, I need to make sure I'm not overdoing it. But yeah, still need to be getting back to proper training. So I'm going to be doing some different stimuluses. Got my first track session done on Monday, so that was really good. The bike's working all right. So yeah, it's just going to be spending time on the track to learn how to ride the black line and learn how to do these hard, fast efforts in position and also holding the line. So yeah, it's going to take a lot of learning, a lot of practice, but I'm keen for it, and I'm going to be getting down to Derby Velodrome a huge amount, lifting up the gym work. Going to be doing a little bit of threshold maintenance, reintroducing the torque work as well. So yeah, figuring out how to balance that into the week. I mean, I've got a rough plan of when I want to be doing my sessions, but the key is just ticking those boxes, like sensibly spaced across the week. But so long as they're all getting done and I'm ready for the next week of training, that's the main thing. Because yeah, it's a lot of stimulus to be reintroducing after a couple of weeks of easy training. So don't think I'm at risk of overdoing it, but yeah, still need to be sensible with it. You know, it's a good session when in the first 5 minutes you're thinking the power meter's overreading, even though you calibrated it at the start. Yeah, just zone 2 tapping away at 120 to 130 beats per minute at like 250 to 270. It's just like, yeah, I'm feeling good for some reason. Did a couple of sprints. They were decent, just getting back to it. And then 2x30 minutes at tempo, which was like 320 watts, probably 150 BPM average for those. But yeah, feeling really good. And it's a nice session to do. Like the time flies by on the turbo when you got some efforts to do rather than just pure zone 2. Nice place to build from. I reckon the caffeine tablet at the start also helped. Definitely needed that on Monday. I was lacking the caffeine with the 4 a.m. start. I reckon caffeine would have done me good there. But yeah, worked well today. So get out for a run now.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that's
Key learnings from the track this week. So got down to the track 2 days this week, both for drop-in sessions from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. That was on Monday and Thursday. A little bit late on the Monday, got a bit confused first time driving to the arena, but yeah, I was fine on Thursday, leaving at the same time. But still got an hour and a half on the track on Monday, an hour and 45 minutes on the Thursday, and that was a good stimulus, I thought. Did end up going a bit too hard early on the Monday, so I was kind of gassed out by about 45 minutes. So it really didn't matter that I missed that first half an hour. And then on Thursday, I decided to take it much easier just because I knew otherwise I'd blow myself up. First session, it was a lot busier, the drop in, and ended up riding on the blue line, but just getting used to trying to hold a line. It's an easier line to hold just because it's a longer way around the track. And just being comfortable on the TT bike. Then kind of progressed a little bit on Thursday because there was less people on the track and there was a couple of other guys on TT bikes. So it felt a bit better track etiquette wise that it was okay for us to be on the black line. Would have been fine for me to be riding the back line on the TT bike on the Monday, but just because of the nature of there being more people coming off and on the track, like yes, you'd be sensible with it. You're not doing them at silly speed. But yeah, it felt better to be on the blue on the Monday, to be honest. But yeah, able to ride the black line all of Thursday, which was really useful. So at a slower speed, just because I didn't want to burn myself out, so I was just like tapping away at like 200 watts, 40k an hour, and felt like I was really getting the hang of dancing with the Côte d'Azur and the black line. So trying to be on the black line or even just a little bit inside it to go even shorter distance around the track. So I felt like that was very productive. But I did find that I do a few like wind up efforts to get the speed up, and you get this bump the speed up from 40 to 50k an hour. It becomes so much harder to hold the black line. So I think it's been useful doing these drop-ins, and I'll continue to do them. But their usefulness isn't super high, maybe just because it's so much different holding a good line at race speed. So yeah, maybe I manipulate doing the drop-in sessions to try and work on going faster through the corners without spending much energy. So maybe going up the track, gaining that height, and then dropping into the black line. I'm not spending 400 plus watts to go close to race speed, but I'm getting that practice at taking the corner at race speed because it's just the corner that you need to practice. So you can use that energy. It's not like you just need to be doing multiple laps. So maybe I'll experiment with that. That's a good idea. But also just doing race specific efforts at speed, because that's going to be critical. It's going to be, like I say, it's just so much harder to hold the line. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the challenge of the track. Lots to learn, but hopefully I'll be getting better over the coming weeks and months. Nice different thing to be doing this winter. Another thing you could do is kind of ovalize the track. So you'd kind of go wider, so above the black line towards the red line in the straights, and then diving in to more the inside during the bend. So prioritizing getting that line through the bend as good as possible. So starting on the outside, ending on the outside, because it's all to do with getting that right lean angle coming into the bend. As I've found that sometimes you get the lean angle right and you just nicely glide around the bend, but then sometimes you get it a little bit wrong. You drift toward the coat, you get a little bit scared, and then you have to lean to the outside to straighten up the bike to move yourself up the track a little bit. So it's all to do with getting that lean angle right from the get go, and then you just have this nice smooth arc. And you can work on that by ovalizing the track. For when I do my efforts, that's probably a good thing to try and do. And then as you get better at it, you try and kind of ovalize it less. Ideally, it'd be like black line in the straights, under the black line in the bends, but nobody's perfect. You see that even the top guys. Some other good advice I got was kind of looking where you want to go. It's a classic one on the bike. But yeah, looking at that transition between the Côte d'Azur and the track, is that where you're looking? So rather than staring at the black line, and therefore you have like the potential to be dipping under the black line rather than just being defined by the black line. And again, it's just looking where you want to go to have the bike handle in the right way. You don't steer the bike; it's all to do with leaning. So you're leaning to the inside to go around the bends, leaning to the outside to straighten up the bike. It's different to outdoor riding, where for a bend you want to lean the bike and get your weight to the outside. You can just lean to the inside because of the steepness of the bank. It's on this really strong camber. Like it's best to just lean into it. Like you're not going to wipe your tires out and fall onto the inside. That's just not going to happen. Just because of how steep the track is. I feel like crash wise, the only thing I could see happening is you maybe like clip the Côte d'Azur, you straighten up the bike too much, and then you wipe out the other way, like wipe out onto the inside of the track. But I think you'd be pretty unlucky for that to happen, to be honest. So yeah, you can just lean with the bike like a motorcyclist to go around the corner, and that seems to work well. So leaning to the inside to get around the corner, and then leaning to the outside to straighten up the bike a little bit. So like I said, if when you find that you're maybe dipping in a little bit too much during the corner, you distribute your weight a little bit to the outside. That straightens up the bike, and you go up the track a little bit. It's not ideal, but it's better than smashing into the coat and potentially crashing. I don't know. I haven't had any sketchy moments. It's just where I felt like I was drifting too much to the inside during the bend, and then I'd straighten it up to move myself up the track. But it never felt like I was actually going to crash or anything. And the final thing is just how I've been finding it super interesting, where time trialing, it's primarily that relationship between power and CDA to determine how fast you go. But then your time, it's the same for a time trial, but it's more evident on the track. Your actual time, which is your result, which is what matters, is also a function of the speed you're going and how far you go. And you can control that distance with taking the optimal line around the track. You're on the red line, you're going an extra 10% per lap for an extra 25 meters, but you can scrape the top of the coat and go even shorter than the 250 meters, and you could be going really fast, but if your line isn't as good, it's kind of wasted speed, but you could be getting as good a time off slower speed by taking a better line. So it's the combination of lots of things, but it's just interesting to think about. And obviously that's true for time trialing as well, taking the optimal line. Outdoor riding, line selection is also picking the best bits of road surface to ride on, which is something John Archibald mentioned to me before the British Champs, like how important the recon is, like to find the best lines to take, like the best bits of tarmac. Obviously we don't have that issue on the track, so it's just trying to scrape the top of the coat. It's true of outdoor time trialing, but maybe it's picking the best bits of tarmac to get that lower rolling resistance and not bump you too much to get you out of position. So maybe you go a little bit further to hit the best tarmac, but that results in you going faster. So yeah, it's just really interesting to think about all those relationships and project for me to do this summer, and yeah. And I reckon it will improve my outdoor time trialing as well, so that's all good.